Welcome back to the corner, everyone. I am the DM as always, and today I want to talk about Dragon Quest III because I didn't even know the remake was actually being made. I had heard rumors, but I never actually heard confirmation of it. And so, knowing that it has been confirmed, and I've already watched this video, so I just want to go over it and kind of talk about it. So, yeah.
My dudes, get your loops. When I first heard we were getting a Dragon Quest III remake, I said, hell yeah. Bring on the bunnies, the loincloth warriors. Sprinkle on some of that puffa puffa, lava lava. Ooh, y'all know what I'm talking about. Whoa, 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 whoa. Something's going on here, boys. Something just ain't right. We're going down. We're going down. Looks like they got us again. Censorship in a Squaresoft Enix game? It's been happening all too often these days. Japanese companies bending the knee to Western activists. Quick history lesson. You see, all this started in the 80s with rock music. Stay-at-home moms protesting the devil's music. Then it was violence in games in the 90s, attacking games like Mortal Kombat.
That's pretty bad. And that's just plain gross.
But we fucking won those wars, boys. For many years, we held our ground. Our numbers grew strong. You'll never take our games from us. It didn't matter what color your skin was, what side of the fence you were on. We all just want to play good games. Gaming brought us all together. But then we got a new type of enemy. Basement-dwelling Twitter weirdos. They've infected all forms of entertainment, from movies, television, websites, and yeah, gaming.
Yeah, so I just want to pause right here. Um, so we've seen this a lot recently, especially with big AAA companies here in America. A lot of foreign game developers, like Japanese developers, like Square Enix, and companies like I don't remember what the people that made Black Myth Wukong. For a long time, those companies kind of remained untouched by all this DI nonsense bullshit. Um, but we're starting to see a real shift in this. And a lot of it, like he said, is due to online Twitter warriors, social justice warriors, moms in the basement. And this is nothing new for the gaming industry. As he said, this all started back in the 80s with Kiss and Rock. And to some extent, that's still going on. I grew up through the violence in video games bullshit. Thankfully, my mom was not a part of the crowd that was like, "Oh my god, this is to be banned." No, she went and she bought Mortal Kombat for me and my brothers, and we played the fuck out of it because it was an amazing game. Um, but here's the issue. Every time they lose one of these fights, they simply move on to something else to try and justify their own existence. And he'll talk about that in a little bit in a little bit. But so back when you had uh, rock and roll, the moms were getting really upset about it because it was the devil's music without any sort of proof or evidence or anything like that. They just listened to the lyrics and went, "Oh, they must be worshiping the devil," and just like full stop in the story right there, kind of thing. When that eventually failed, or not even when that eventually failed, when video games really started to take off, is when the next scenario comes where they started to blame violence on video games, even though violence had existed in our culture long before video games was even a thought. Um, and so they tried to put a quash on that, but then the government thankfully actually listened to scientists instead of idiots, and the science showed that there was no causal link between violence in video games and violence in kids. It was found to be a result of behavioral issues, whether that stems from an imbalance in the brain or issues at the home. Pretty much while they might have had violent video games in their life, that was not the actual deciding factor, nor was it even a really significant cause or anything towards why they were violent. Um, And so they lost that battle pretty handedly. And I would say they probably lost that battle around the same time that they lost the battle against rock and roll, because they were just idiots. And this happened, I would personally say, I don't know exactly when, but I would personally say that happened around uh, 97 to 99. Right around that era is when they really started to lose that battle. Um, and then you have nowadays, because they had to try and figure out something, right? Because after they lost against violence in video games and rock and roll, there really wasn't anything they could do, right? Because violence in movies had existed for a lot longer than video games were ever a thought. So they really couldn't try to go after that because that was just a lost battle immediately, especially after losing the battle against video games. And so they had to try and think of something. And so that's where DEI comes in. And that's why DEI was a thing in the first place. If you're wondering why I'm looking over here, it's because that's where I have my OBS. And I don't know, I just have this tendency to look over there first when I'm recording. But uh, when DEI first popped up, it was seen as something that could only be good, something that could just make everything better. And to some extent, they weren't wrong, at least not at first. Because we began getting more options for character creation and whatnot. We started seeing more diverse character casts and more diverse um, just stories in general. But nowadays, it started to morph because these people just continue wanting to hound diversity and try and shove out the white cis males and try and force in everything else that has begun to cause disruptions in these spaces and in these entities where you have companies now just outright getting rid of their DEI departments. Now, I don't necessarily think that's getting rid of DEI in those companies. I think they're just moving on to bridge, but they're starting to remove the DEI term essentially from their vocabulary because especially in games, gamers have begun to really hate such things because of the effect it has on the quality of video games. Now, you can try and argue that, and I'll talk about this a little bit more later on, but you could try and argue that putting on a more cloth to hide cleavage and to try and hide sex organs and whatever only is good because it makes it so people don't feel uncomfortable playing the video game or whatever. Well, the response that I have to that, at least the immediate response, again, I'll get into it more later, but the immediate response I have to that is don't buy the game. Don't if you don't like it, just don't support it. This is something that many people, myself included, have been trying to get people to understand for the longest fucking time. That if you want to make a difference, the best actual way to see if your message is the norm, if you're not alone in your thoughts as a gamer, the best way is to not buy the game, to not support the company. Okay, we saw this rise to enormous effect during the Helldivers 2 situation, where Sony made it a requirement to link your PSN and your Steam account in order to play the game. And what we saw happen was almost unanimously, people began mass refunding the game, mass downvoting the game on Steam to such a point that Sony slightly pulled back. They didn't actually do anything. All they did was make it a requirement to link your or all they did was remove the requirement to link your PSN to your Steam account. That's it. there are still over 150 countries where you literally cannot play Helldivers 2. Even despite the fact that you don't need to link your PSN account to it, you can't play it in those countries because it's a PSN title, and the PSN is just not a thing there for licensing or whatever fucking bullshit reason that they want to spout. It doesn't it legitimately doesn't actually fucking matter. They didn't actually roll back their change. There's still over 150 countries that can't play the game. D&D Beyond is another great one where that's actually an even better one because Wizards not only reversed their OGL horseshit, they went out and put it into Creative Commons so that we as players would know that that not only would they never do this kind of thing again or try to do this kind of thing, at least with this instance, at least with 5e, not only would they never try to do it again with 5e, but they literally can't, because if you didn't know, once something is in Creative Commons, it cannot be removed. Full stop. There's no way for anyone to remove it from Creative Commons. And Creative Commons gives everyone a non-exclusive perpetual license to the material. You are allowed to modify it in any way, shape, or form you desire, and no one can stop you. No one. That's why when Mickey Mouse went into Creative Commons, or at least Steamboat Willie, or whatever his name is, went into Creative Commons, you immediately saw like horror movies being made because Disney can't do anything about it at that point.
They spent years penetrating major corporations using DEI programs and slowly destroyed the chins and chests of many of our loved characters.
Yeah. This is one thing I wanted to
and
talk
slowly
about.
Destroyed the chins and chests.
So right here, effectively what they've done on the outside, right, is they've put this, right, and they've put a extremely short miniskirt. But additionally, underneath that miniskirt, I guarantee you, I don't know because I've never tried to find it or anything, but I guarantee you there's probably either a like just generic black void that covers everything within, or she's probably got on some like really short shorts effectively underneath it. So it's just layers on layers of censorship. And if you didn't know, this character is a dancer, a stereotypical adult entertainment dancer. She works at an adult entertainment area within this video game. Her outfit makes sense because she's also a fighter. She can fight. She can do things in combat. So she has some more metallic plating where you would normally find cloth.
Of many of our loved characters. Don't take my word for it. Let's see what the Square Enix ethics team thinks about this. 私の仕事の成果はユーザーが違和感なく最後までプレイできること。I'll translate that into non-Weebanese for you. The results of my job are that the users can play until the very end without feeling any discomfort. 誰も違和感感じてねえよこのバカ野郎. This is why games feel so soft these days. There are teams with checklists making sure that our games do not contain anything that could even be remotely offensive to anybody. And the reason it's getting worse and worse is because all departments and major corporations are micromanaged to hell and back. This team has to find more and more and more content to censor in order to justify its own existence. Until finally, all of our games look like...
I mean, just like he said, these people, and again, it goes back to before even these DEI departments existed. These people have to find means to justify their existence within this atmosphere. People that don't even play video games, don't interact with the media, don't watch the media, don't consume the media, nothing. And these companies are just bending the knee to them. Whereas back when I was growing up, amidst all this like violence and video games bullshit, if these kind of people had won, games like Mortal Kombat, Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row, all these games would never have even existed. Games like Final Fantasy wouldn't be able to exist because the entire premise of it is violence. It's violence. That's how you level up. That's how you interact with the main villains. That's how you interact with some of your allies with violence. And if you don't believe me, go and look at Final Fantasy X. One of the opening fights, not opening, but one of the fights close to the opening is against Kamari as Titus. And Kamari just outright attacks you for no reason, at least none that you're aware of, and you have to fight him and either win or lose to him to progress the game. You are literally required to commit violence in the video game to progress the video game. It is a hard requirement. And even earlier than that, you still have fights that are required that you win. Okay? You're required to kill the opponent in the video game to progress the story. These games would not be able to exist if these people had won back in the 90s against the violence in video games. They literally could not exist. So don't sit there and think that this problem is like unique to DEI horseshit. It's not. It's been around since time immemorial.
Like Concord. Nothing is safe anymore. And now Steam has to find more and more and more content to censor in order to justify its own existence. Until finally, all of our games look like Concord. Nothing is safe anymore. And now they've somehow convinced Japan that they should change their media and culture for people who don't even play games. Over the years, Square Enix has slowly censored their games, and it's getting...
So I just want to go back here real quick. This is pixel art. Okay. This is pixel art that came out in the 90s. I played Final Fantasy VI. I love that game. I think it's one of the greatest games of all time. Full stop. Like, top 2. Minimum. Okay? Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time might actually win out over it, but I haven't quite decided yet. I'm going to be honest, because they're both absolute goats. But so this is all pixel art, okay? No one is sitting here looking at this and thinking, "Oh man, that's so hot, and sexy. I want to," or they're not looking at it thinking, "Oh man, I'm gonna go out and fucking kill some people." No, that's not a thing. That's never been a thing, and science has proven it.
And it's getting worse and worse. The first thing I noticed was in my favorite game, Final Fantasy VII. Not the original, I'm talking about the remake, where they changed blood to be the color purple. They also ruined the story of my buddy Daimyo, who offed himself in the original, but is now gunned down instead, because taking your own life is controversial.
Yeah, and this right here, I stopped playing, when the remake first came out, I bought the first part of it, first half, I don't fucking know, because I stopped playing it. But I stopped playing it because they one, the tutorial is a hard forced tutorial where so there's a skill in the game that normally you don't get until, or at least in the original you didn't get until quite a ways into it, that allows you to learn enemy skills. The game gives it to you during the tutorial, and then makes you go through a 3-hour process to learn about this materia that everyone fucking knows what it does already, because everyone who is playing this game has played a Final Fantasy game before, and it's pretty self-explanatory when you look at the fucking materia, and it's called enemy skill materia. Pretty fucking self-explanatory, especially with the text dump that happens when you get the fucking thing. But anyways, you have to go through like this 2-3 hour fucking bit to learn about this fucking material. And it's forced. You can't skip it. You can't progress the story until you do it. So the tutorial is dragged out for like another 3 hours. And the tutorial before that was already an hour. So you're looking at like a 4 to 5 hour tutorial, right? That covers shit that is in every game. Like, honestly, you need to start removing the tutorials that teach you how to move. Because that's fucking obvious by now. Everyone who is playing a video game knows how to fucking move. The first thing someone on a keyboard is going to do is they're going to hit WASD. Because that's the standard for movement in a video game. on PC. If you're using a controller, the left stick is always movement. It has always been movement. It will always be movement. There has never been an instance where the left stick is not movement in a video game. Never. There's not one instance. And the reason why is because early controllers, the left side was the dedicated movement area. That's where all of the movement shit took place. Okay? And later on, we started getting into 3D. The right stick was the one that controlled the camera. Or on the N64, it was the C buttons. Unless, of course, it was Ocarina of Time, but they still made use of it and still had ways for you to control the camera. So it's ridiculous.
They've gone too damn far. They've taken the designs from the fan-loved Akira Toriyama, one of the most important and legendary artists in modern history,
Yes.
and then just said, fuck this
It's not appropriate for modern audiences.
and went ahead and covered up the women in the game, removed religious symbols,
And we'll
even
talk about that
lips.
in a
I'll get
moment.
back to the lips in a little bit. Priorities, people. Akira Toriyama, the maker of Dragon Ball Z and many other works, passed away recently, and we fans are no longer able to experience any new material from him moving forward, as Square Enix has decided to water down his material from its own player base. Let's read the description of the class with crosses on their armor. Clerics, disciples of the gods. Hello, Square Enix. They are clerics, one of the most well-known and respected classes in all of RPG games.
Yeah, and here's the thing. No one in the history of ever has ever made any kind of complaint that the class that heals and does really good things and revives people wearing a cross is somehow satanic or somehow controversial. But they're censoring it anyways with something even worse.
Let's continue. As evil-hating followers of the gods, clerics cast healing and reviving spells that are imbued with holy power. Okay, so you don't want any possible religious symbols in the game. What are you going to change it to then? A pitchfork, the weapon of choice of many depictions of the Christian devil? Have you gone mental? Nobody gives a shit about the cross. And somehow this is even more offensive.
Yeah, so somehow that it's not really somehow, it's pretty obvious how it's more offensive. But also, like, here's the thing, right? Not only is it more offensive because now they're just using the sign of the devil effectively. I think that this might have been intentional to actually piss off the Christians. I really do. Because there's no reason to change it to a pitchfork. Like, if they change it to a mace, I mean, they're fucking using maces. That would have made some sense. But also, like, I'm just gonna say, like, right here, these two people with, like, the pitchfork and shit, they look pretty fucking evil. I'm just saying.
Offensive. Not only can we never again experience his work, check this out. Did you know Square Enix is partnered with a DEI consulting company named Sweet Baby Inc., where one of their employees publicly disrespected Toriyama?
Yeah. So this is one reason why I really fucking hate Sweet Baby Inc. and why I take extremely hard stances against any video game that is heavily infiltrated by them, which includes this remake, which I will never be buying. So this dumb bitch, and I'm gonna call him a dumb bitch because I don't fucking give a shit about them. This dumb bitch had the fucking balls to try and disrespect Toriyama. Like, she starts off by like, oh, it gave us the best and worst black characters in anime. Like, I'm sorry, you stupid little fucking whore bitch. No, it didn't. You're fucking retarded. You don't understand Toriyama. If it wasn't for Toriyama, okay, literally, and you can fucking fact check me. In fact, I'll you know what? Hold on. Yeah, so I saved this after Toriyama's passing. So if you don't know who this is the guy that makes One Piece. And this is his letter to him. It's too early, the hole is too big. The thought of never seeing you again, he's talking to Toriyama here, fills me with sadness. I've admired you so much since I was a child, and I even remember the day you called me by name for the first time, which, if you didn't know, in Japan, calling someone by, like, their first name and whatnot is not something you typically do with, like, business partners or anything. Typically, if it's someone older than you, I might be getting some of this wrong. I apologize, but I'm pretty sure you usually refer to them as dono or senpai. Senpai is usually like a teacher, though, or like a mentor. You don't generally call someone by their first name unless you are like very, very close, like almost family level close. So, anyways, I also missed the day when I had a great time with Mr. Kishimoto on the way home from the day when he used the word friend for us, which is huge. I feel like people throw that shit out too much. If For me, when I was growing up, if someone called you a friend, that was massive. That meant something. Anyways, I also remember the last conversation we had. He is one of the people who took the baton from an era when reading manga would make you stupid and created an era where both adults and children read and enjoy manga. He showed us the dream that manga can do things like this and that we can go to the world. Because manga was largely just Japan. It really didn't go outside of Japan. He showed us the dream. Yeah. So he gave it to me. It was like watching a hero push forward. The excitement he experienced when he serialized Dragon Ball is probably rooted in childhoods of creators who are active in all industry, not just manga artists. 1000% fact, by the way. Literally, you have engineers, scientists, like, we're talking like nuclear physicists that have watched Dragon Ball and grew up with Dragon Ball and are massive Dragon Ball fans, okay? That existence is a great tree. For manga artists of my generation who have stood on the same stage, the closer I got to Toriyama's works, the more I realized that they had a greater presence, almost scary. But I'm just happy to see the easygoing man himself again, because we love Toriyama Sensei. See, even though Toriyama called him by name, he still refers to him as Sensei, because he's still his teacher. That's how much respect he has for Toriyama. That's how much respect anyone who is in the creative field has for Toriyama. If you have this level of respect for him, you call him sensei, you call him a mentor, because that's what he is. Even in death, even after his passing, this man is still a sensei. His works still teach us. Anyways, I should have continued on a blood level. So, like, oh my god. Anyways, I would like to express my respect first would like to express my respect and gratitude to the world of creativity left behind by Professor Toriyama and pray for his repose and peace. I hope that heaven will be a pleasant world just as you envisioned it. Now, I don't have a link to this because I downloaded it, but here, I'll move my ugly little face in there. Now you can just screenshot it for yourself and have it, and you can just link it back here. So yeah, the fact that this bitch had the fucking gall to disrespect Toriyama is fucking insane. First off, Popo wasn't blackface. You're a fucking retard for thinking he is.
Toriyama-san shortly after he passed, stating he created some of the worst black characters.
And neither was
that
Jinx.
same company is now getting paid to destroy his work. It's unforgivable. Anyways, back to the body type B characters. Look at what they're doing to the women characters in the game. Here's the original, a warrior class. Looks great, right? Bam, here's the remake. For some reason, they think it's better to cover up the women's tops and bottoms with some spandex looking shit. Only the women, by the way, because only women can be sexualized, of course.
Exactly.
Which is ironic because we got body top A characters and body top B characters.
Yeah, so I saw this, but I didn't think it was actually real. I didn't actually read or anything, but I didn't think it was real because, like, that's just fucking retarded. Like, the whole point of having a male and female protagonist is so that way, if you are male or you want to have a male protagonist, you can be a male protagonist. And if you want a female protagonist, you can be a female protagonist. But right here, I'm gonna be honest, these two characters look the exact fucking same, except this one's shorter and has different fucking hair. Like, it's fucking stupid.
If there's no difference, then why are they covering up only body type B?
Exactly.
It's because they're women. It's like buildings that skip the 13th floor and go straight to the 14th. No one's believing this shit. Stop trying to fool people. Same thing.
in defense of the 13th floor over in Japan, that is a very big cultural thing. So
happened with the Asobinin class here. They changed the cut of her outfit. In Japanese, the word asobinin is a term you refer to people that are a bit on the promiscuous side. The kanji on the left means to play. Nin means person. It's a joke that only older players would understand, and younger players would just think it's a clown and a bunny person that like to play games and mess around. On top of
yeah, so he has a good point here where when I was a kid, I didn't give a fuck why these classes were named what they were. When I saw a fighter, I was like, oh cool, it's a fighter. When I saw a cleric, I was like, oh cool, it's a cleric. They heal. I knew what they did. When I saw a mage or like a black mage, it was like, oh, okay, so you do offensive magic, and the white mage does healing magic because that's just what they do. Okay, has nothing to do with like a fucking color, right? It's to distinguish between one that heals and one that does damage. Because if you just call it a fucking mage, no one knows. But it's also like no one actually cares either about this thing, except for fucking idiots on the internet who don't fucking play video games and don't understand the fucking relevance between the fucking names.
that,
By the way, I want to rewind just a little bit here.
the kanji on the left means
But
to
so this right, it's a Playboy bunny. Duh, adults know this. Kids do not, or at least they didn't back when I was a kid. I didn't know what the fuck a Playboy bunny. I didn't even know a Playboy bunny existed. All I knew was that she was cute. She could do some things, and that's it. I didn't care about anything else. I didn't care about, oh, she likes sexy. No, because that didn't fucking matter. Why? Because back when I was a kid, okay, back when I was a kid, when I was a wee little tot, right? Kids were kids. Kids weren't focused on making $1 million. They weren't focused on getting a girl and having sex. That shit didn't fucking matter because we were kids. We were just kids having fun playing a fucking video game.
play. Nin means person. It's a joke that only older players would understand.
Yes.
And younger players would just think it's a clown and a bunny person that like to play games and mess around. On top of that, they even censored the bottle of whiskey. Now it's just a bottle.
Which
They've
is stupid.
completely butchered this class. Censoring this misses the whole damn point. Oh,
Yes.
what the hell, dudes?
Yes,
These
it
modern
does.
sensibilities love to destroy designs made by others, while at the same time have no imagination or creativity. Take a look at Concord, for fuck's sake.
Body massage machine, go.
There's a reason why the shit they make does not sell, and yet they think they
Yeah.
can fix Toriyama-san's work? Give me a break. Now back to the mouth conspiracy. It looks like ogres can't have big, juicy lips for some reason. Why is that? Is it because they don't kiss their loved ones? Wrong, you racist son of a...
And see, before he goes on, this is something that I think is really fucking stupid, and this is why this whole censorship is so fucking retarded. Because if we rewind here just a little bit more, right? I want to get to a frame where it like just transitions over. So right here, right? So you can see the outline. Let me pull up Epic Pen real quick. Hang on. So you can see this outline like right here, right? You can see this outline. It's pretty obvious and everything. And so if we advance forward one, and then we just, oh look, let's see. Yep, exact same outline. Oh, look at that. The exact same outline in both. So the issue here is that it's not even so much that they are censoring it. They are just literally changing the color, and that's it. They're not actually changing the lips in any actual way other than just the color.
have big, juicy lips for some reason. Why is that? Is it because they don't kiss their loved ones? Wrong, you racist son of a bitch. It's because lips equals black people. According to the Square Enix ethics team, they've been going after lips for decades. Started with Mr. Popo, then they got our girl Jinx from Pokemon, and now it's ogres. Nobody is seeing big lips and thinking black people, but apparently
Yeah.
Square Enix does. If anything, it's making the situation worse. Not to mention they gave him an extra finger.
Yeah, so this is another bit of censorship. It might not look like censorship, but basically it makes them look less monster-like. It makes them look a little bit more human. right? Rather than just a fucking monster, which is literally what they actually are. They even call themselves monsters. So it's not like we're being like, oh, they're literally monsters, and then it's just us saying it. They literally call themselves monsters. Yes, their race is ogre, but they call themselves monsters.
They can't even get his artwork right. This is a joke. Look, I don't want to tell you dudes what to support or not, but this franchise is being turned into a kid's game.
He doesn't, but I will. Don't support this shit. Full stop. Don't support it. Especially if you're tired of like censorship and shit in media, don't support it. Because by buying it, you're supporting it, you're telling them that, hey, yes, this is what I want in my games going forward, and so they're going to continue to do it. It's the entire reason that Final Fantasy VII Remake got all that censorship that it did, which is fucking retarded.
And it completely disrespects Toriyama Akira-san's legacy and shits on what makes the series art quirky and unique. For me personally, I'm going to continue to fight censorship in our games, and if you don't care about it, well, I'm sure you'll get along with the 90s moms just fine.
How would you like to have a teenage daughter go out on a date with someone who's just watched or played 3 hours of that game?
She's talking about Mortal Kombat, and by the way, my daughter, go ahead. I don't fucking care.
Peace.
So yeah, great video by him. I'm gonna subscribe to him. I'm liking his video. I love his content. So yeah, apparently, Square Enix is turning into Squaresoft again, because they're just doing all of the softest softballs they can throw at anyone who will pay attention and listen, and it's absolutely fucking stupid. Yeah. Thank you for coming to the corner. That is my take. That's my opinion. I am the DM. So yeah, if you liked the video, hit the like button, hit subscribe. If you didn't, hit dislike, leave a comment, let me know why, and I will see you all later.